All right, guys, welcome back. We had a few technical difficulties, like we always do. We're no strangers to them, and we become kind of pros at handling them. Okay, we go on break, but we should be back, and this all should be good to go now. Last we are when we started breaking up, we were talking about how to handle the or specifically if 2 day states were good or not. I'm of the opinion that they're not. I'm of the opinion that you start turning away a lot of people. Like I was talking about, like when you start talking about having 2 day states for things like seniors and juniors, like I don't know. I would have to think that that you have to draw the line at that point. And but anyways, I mean that's just my opinion. And I do want to hear from you, Kyle. What do you think about having seniors and juniors in 2 days? Like,
I don't
can
like
you
that.
really be behind that? Okay, good.
No, unless you can prove to me that the numbers for juniors and seniors are so big that you can justify a second day for them, that doesn't make any
But I mean,
sense
they're
to me.
obviously not.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, if it ever gets to that point, then sure, that's fine. But what you're looking at now, juniors and seniors always get done like 8 o'clock at the latest, something like
Yeah.
that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Um, so yeah, I don't understand why that went to 2 days. To be completely honest.
And I mean, not only can you not understand it, but like, I think you guys are missing the point of like how much of how big of a mistake that actually is. Like, you actually do start turning people families away at that point. It becomes very, very.
Oh, the whole decision to go to 2 days will turn away people in itself,
Yeah.
even for
Um,
matches.
yeah, but I mean, fine. While you're right, like, it just seems so wrong to make juniors and seniors have to go through this, especially when they don't have to. Like when they don't need to, it just feels like a giant mistake, and I hope the mistake doesn't get repeated. But I don't know. I don't know. I have a pretty big issue with this. I really do hope it doesn't become the norm. I understand that these events are starting to become bigger, but there needs to be an alternate solution found. I mentioned one. I mean, I don't know if it's correct or not, but like that was just off the top of my head. Um, I'm sure that if the powers that be start brainstorming, I'm sure that they could find a much better solution, and I'm sure that they could employ it pretty easily. So it's
Keep
just a
in
matter
mind,
of
this
actually
is
employing it.
this is one state championship out of all of them that's
Yeah,
doing this.
I do agree, but it's still it sets a precedent. Like the fact that there was this one, and then all of a sudden the Missouri jumped on it, and obviously they didn't go through with it, but the fact that they jumped on it meant that it actually had an impact. And you never know. You never know. I do know that it does have an overall negative um,
It's negative
expectation
feedback. Yeah,
feedback. Yeah, I guess that's what I was going for. It does have a negative feedback currently, right?
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. That's something that we've got to watch out for. Which week is going to be? Is Illinois going to be?
It's in 2 days.
No, which week though? One, two, or three?
It's in 2 days.
Oh, in 2 days. In 2 days. I'm sorry. I thought you said it's 2 days. Okay, my mistake. So it's gonna be week one. It's gonna be in 2 days. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we're gonna get that feedback much sooner than that. Anyways, before we go into the viewer questions, which I'm sure you guys are all waiting for, I'm gonna link the Facebook page one more time, and hopefully you guys can start asking questions there, and we'll go ahead and answer as many as we can. Please ask any questions that you guys feel relevant when it comes to states. And I guess anything else. I do want to touch on one thing. We haven't had a chance to do a show in a while, and I realize um, that this is not a Magic the Gathering show, but something major happened with Magic the Gathering's Pro Tour recently, and that is Melissa DeTora actually top aided the Pro Tour, and this is a female top aiding a major Magic the Gathering event, like the biggest one of the biggest Magic the Gathering events that are available. This is a huge step in not only not only Magic the Gathering, but and not only in trading card games in general, but it's like a giant step for gaming. I can't tell I'll tell you guys and express how big of an accomplishment this was, and how much buzz was surrounding this giant accomplishment, and it really got me to thinking that um, we do have a lot of competitive female players. We really do, quite a few, but we also don't they don't get the recognition that they deserve. We've had, I mean, for example, at what was this? It was the last regionals we streamed.
Ours have 2 in the top 8. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of the regionals though.
Mississippi Valley, Missouri, whatever you want to say.
All right,
St.
Missouri
Louis.
Valley. Yeah, Mississippi Valley, Missouri. I don't know what Potter is going crazy about here, but we'll ignore Potter.
He's what's wrong with gaming.
Yeah, Potter is what's wrong with gaming. But yeah, I mean, the fact that we had two females in the top 8, and the fact that that this happened in Magic the Gathering, I can't express how big of a how big of an occasion this is. And this really, I hope it's not that just happens sporadically, and I do hope that it's kind of foreshadowing what's going to happen in trading card games. But I feel like, and this is kind of like a mini rant, because I do kind of feel like women aren't generally accepted in gaming communities. Pokemon is notwithstanding. I mean, we always kind of segregate women when it comes to gaming, and not necessarily just us, but in general. And I was so happy to see how everybody was so accepting of Melissa DeTore's accomplishment. And you know what? I do want to see something like this happen for Pokemon, and I do want to see people, females and males alike, obviously, get the recognition they deserve, because a lot of these female players that we have currently they're really doing extremely well. And the format is irrelevant. The fact that they are doing so well is just it's awesome, and I really hope that it continues, because it's what gaming needs in general for us to progress.
I don't know. I have a kind of different view on it. I mean, I know we would all like to see more women play. I mean, gaming generally is a male-dominated thing, but I have mixed feelings when you kind of spotlight someone just for being a woman, being successful. Like, that's been happening in Pokemon for a while. Like, it's not really a thing we go, oh, look, there's a girl playing. Like, it's just they're another person. Like, I don't like when you single people out like that. I can see why you do it, because it's such a rare thing in gaming. But I almost feel like it's not a good thing when you kind of single someone out just for that kind of a thing. I don't know if that's the right way to look at it, but I don't know. I don't think all girls would like to be singled out just for being, the girl in the group. I don't know.
While I used to think like you, I actually I changed my opinion when I realized that these girls actually have it a lot tougher than a male player. Like, a female player does have a lot more issues that she has to deal with. She has to I have no idea what's wrong.
What's wrong?
Yeah, seriously.
I just read the chat. It was like, that's not true. David Cohen won Worlds. She's a nice lady.
All right. Well, I guess Potter is.
I find everything funny. Listen, I don't really think of women as any different than men. The fact that they won a Pro Tour it's a mathematical thing. Like, women are just as good as men at whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yes, I realize that they are just.
The reason they haven't won anything is just because there's less of them, and mathematically, I'm surprised something like that hasn't happened until just now. So, it's just.
I mean,
it's just very.
You can consider it variance, but
it's
in reality, I mean.
What?
All right, Drew. What were you gonna say?
I don't know, I think just variance is a very rude thing to say.
I don't.
Yeah, that's pretty rude.
I agree. If you don't actually stop and think about like what how difficult it actually is for a girl to play this game. I mean, if you really stop and think about it, it's a much more difficult game for them than it is for us. Not because they don't understand strategy or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, they understand it perfectly.
That's not what you're saying.
Yeah.
Why is it a difficult game for girls?
Because they're treated differently. Because they
care. Like, if I actually don't care and don't pay attention to it, then I don't treat them differently. And if everybody thought that way, then nobody would.
The fact that you were just laughing your butt off this whole time makes it seem like you do treat them differently.
Just because I'm laughing at a joke, that's the reason it's a joke. It's because of what society has placed on the idea of what a woman is and what jokes about women are. And that's not anybody's fault for laughing at it. It's just funny. when people fall down, it's still funny. I should.
understand that. I'm not faulting you. That's not what I'm getting at. What I am saying is that there is this general.
I'm saying if people thought my way, there wouldn't be.
I guess. Sure, but they don't. So we have that issue, and you do kind of have to congratulate success when it's due. Like, maybe not necessarily say something along the lines of. I don't know. I'm not actually sure. I didn't prepare a speech or anything like that. But I do know that when you have when people get some credit, they should absolutely be rewarded for it. You know what? Maybe she the fact that she's a girl shouldn't have influenced things. But the fact of the matter is that it does, and it is more difficult for her to actually perform on the pro tour, and it is more difficult for a lot of these women to they have a lot more pressure added to them. Like, if you think about it,
I understand that, but it's counterproductive to talk this way. There's a rule in the National Football League that a minority coach has to be interviewed, and the way they talk about minorities and having jobs and stuff, it's similar to kind of the gender equality thing. And a lot of people criticize that because it's like you're just interviewing somebody because they're African American. We shouldn't be. It's almost part of the problem to talk about it, in my opinion. To because you're creating a difference. You're creating inequality.
No, the inequality is already there. What you're doing is you're acknowledging the fact that it's there, and you're congratulating them for getting past certain issues. Now, what I am suggesting is that once this stigma gets established, of course, like when females become 50% of the gaming population, when they start top 8, 50% of these tournaments, whatever, of course it's not going to matter as much. But currently it does, and currently we should congratulate these people for performing the way that they do, and for kind of setting a precedent for other females, and for and so forth. But anyways, that's kind of just a little mini rant. I understand your guys' stand to congratulate people that.
Do you think congratulating is going to be part of the solution?
Yes, until the.
I think inherently the only solution has to do with parenting in the country. And I don't think there's anything extraneous that we can do, or at least talking about in the realm of Pokemon cards, that has any kind of beneficial solution.
Okay.
That's my opinion, though.
This is actually a good topic to cover later on.
We'll revisit it.
People.
We'll revisit it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And let me actually find the Top Cut page that I actually clicked out of on accident. Anyways, we will get to the viewer questions now. If you guys have anything to add on to the actual topic that we just talked about, which is girls in gaming or whatnot, you're more than welcome to add on to
questions.
Not you. I'm actually talking to the viewers. You guys are more than welcome to actually post it on our Facebook page, and we'll talk about it.
Hey, Crim, why don't you blog about it?
I actually do have a blog, halfway written for it.
Halfway written.
Did it turn out like your article that one time?
Nobody mentions I have 0 blog posts.
Yeah, Ben, you can too.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, I should start doing that more.
You realize that these blogs are...
I'll try to do one every week from now on. I can manage that.
Where am I?
Want me to ask the questions, please?
This is when he wakes up.
I found it.
So they're like, where am I?
Question 1 is from Aaron Wayne. When is my boy Drew going to do some more streaming? Woo! Woo! Never.
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking about doing Ohio State's this weekend, but I don't have the equipment, and I might not be able to anyways, so we'll see. I'll try to arrange a time when Kyle can't do it.
What's funny is Drew once he and I were talking on I believe AIM, and once he finished doing the stream or whatever, he literally just types never again. Never again.
It's tough. It is tough. It takes a lot out of you.
Oh man, that is too funny. That is
Stop
good stuff, man.
getting destroyed with your stout land deck repeatedly.
All right,
You have
you
to
know
be
what?
like cool talking to yourself.
My decks are not good, first of all, which doesn't help. And then I constantly make misplays when I'm like trying to keep track of everything. So
Yeah, it's rough.
this is not good.
I'm sure it's just a matter of getting used to it. Dax Edmiston asks, going to be wooing all weekend at Oklahoma State's. Also, do you all think that metal cling cling, a full metal cling cling, is a good idea with some text? Cram, you can cover that one.
Full Metal Clang Clang? Sure, go for it. I mean, I don't see why not, as long as you don't run into, like, Victini. And even then, it has to be, like, multiple of them. Because, like, if you just happen to have a backup, then you're fine. So, you know, good luck, luckiest player wins kind of thing. Let's go. Woo.
Cram is a little bitter. That's
Good
all right.
attitude. Good attitude.
All right, Kyle, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, most people play Cling Clang like that. Just you want to run metal Pokemon because they're the only Pokemon that get protected by Clang's ability. So you try to avoid running non-metal Pokemon because they can still get hit. And yeah, I mean, personally, I run like a Keldeo in my deck because laser is so prevalent. So when you get poisoned, you can rush in with Keldeo and then switch, and then you get rid of the poison. That is the only non-metal Pokemon I play in my deck, just for that. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously a very good deck. Yep.
Woo!
Best of the year donut question.
I also agree. That's a pretty good deck. One thing I would is set up your lock decks. I would play more aggressive decks, but a lot of times the lock decks are pretty good and they're more win friendly, if you will. So I think it's a really good deck, at least for week 1. Drew, what do you think?
I just don't like the deck. I think lasers is too big of a problem, and it's too easily countered by like random Victinis and stuff like that. And the Cling Clang attackers just don't hit for enough. You know, you got that Cobalion.
Yeah.
He's not a big guy.
Though,
I don't
like,
care about him.
if you don't run into any fire Pokemon, you actually just don't lose. So that's kind of the thing. Like, everyone just has to play fire, and then you can't win a game with Clang Clang. But if no one does it, you'll probably like wipe the floor.
Yeah, from my experience, if there's no fire Pokemon and you run counter stadiums to get rid of Verbank, you do win with Cling Clang if you set up. But against pretty much everything, except for Crushing Hammer.
Yeah. Well, no one plays that anymore.
All right, guys. Next question from Garrett Humphrey. Garrett Humphrey asks, if you wipe Humarzone off the face of the earth, would you do it? Remember, there are repercussions to wiping my city off the face of the earth.
Easy answer, yes.
You say Yuma?
Yeah, man. Like, there's got to be, like...
What Mexican state is that in?
Oh no.
Oh, man, this guy. This guy. Yeah, man, I don't know. There should be a law against making so many jokes. Aaron Wayne asks, this one is for Ben. All right, Potter, you ready?
I'd keep it. Okay.
Since the release of Skyla, have your hands run dry yet?
I think I answered that question already in the chat.
This show is going downhill.
Next.
I don't even know. See, there's a lot of things I'd like to say, but it'd be very frowned upon, so I'm not going to say any of those things.
Good.
Yeah. But you get the picture.
All right, this is a good question. Michael Egan asks, what do you think you could play at States if lasers didn't come to existence? And Kyle, let me stop you from saying, but they are in existence. I understand that they are. Just use this hypothetical.
Well, then I'm not answering the question first.
All right, let's go with somebody who is more willing to answer hypothetical questions. Potter, what about you?
What's the question? I didn't hear you.
States
And I
formats
was-
without
If
laser. Go.
Without laser?
yeah, if you could play,
Oh.
if laser didn't exist, what would you play?
This is easy. This is easy.
Mine would be Blastoise.
Blastoise, yeah. You just do 200.
Virizion.
I would just do 200
was-
damage every turn.
I would legit play the Virizion deck.
And I would play Black Kieran with Blastoise.
Yeah.
I'd
Black Kieran
still play
Blastoise.
the Virizion deck.
Wait, actually, and if everyone played Black Kieran Blastoise, I would play Eels with 4 Shred Rayquazas.
And I'd still be playing Virizion, winning all my matches.
Probably.
Blastoise is a fair answer. That makes sense.
I think Virizion's a fair answer.
Okay, Samantha Nori, I think that's how you pronounce it, asks, "What are good ways to get into the right mindset of for a tournament?" Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you for the
Good sleep.
question.
I'm probably really good at this question. So, first off, you just gotta imagine yourself as the winner of every game, and like no matter what matchup, no matter what, you just gotta picture yourself. You're just gonna win, even if it doesn't happen. You just go, the guy got lucky. I should have won that game, and then you just
I'm drawing this plus power. Oh,
Yeah.
I am Pram. I do draw it.
Personally, after every loss, I just say, I'm the best in the world. I literally just say that every time I lose.
it's true. Actually, he does that. But yeah. You just gotta, you just gotta go into it with a really positive outlook. Like, no matter like what happens, just kind of go. You know what? I'm gonna win this game and my next game, and we're just gonna keep going. Even if it doesn't happen, you just keep that positive outlook, and it's pretty much like the best general advice.
Okay, those are fair. Anybody want to add on?
I think I disagree. It's almost like setting yourself up for failure. I know this to be true. I always tell myself I'm going to win every game, and then when I do lose, it stings. I think the best solution, not really solution, but the way to get yourself in a good mindset is just practice beforehand. The more you practice beforehand, the better you're going to feel about it. I mean, it's just like the more prepared you're going to feel, and when you get into actual games and you're seeing all these familiar things happen, and all the things you're prepared for, and all the things that you wanted to be prepared for, it's just going to feel good, and you're going to feel good about the tournament, and you're going to win more games. Kyle?
I
Kyle?
thought the question was like mindset, not like how to prep.
It's more or less.
That's I think that
I mean, don't get me wrong. You should do both. You should do
way
both,
to
right?
get
You should prepare as much as you can.
Yes.
You just gotta go in with the winner's attitude.
You're a nut job.
Hey
I think we're having
man,
issues with Kyle. Kyle, are you there?
He's gone.
I'm here.
Get rid of him.
All right.
I may
Oh,
be a
what
nut
do you-
job, but I win a lot of games.
Not this year.
Well, actually, my win rate is actually pretty high still. It's just my top cut rate is not so hot. I go in at like
Alright.
6-1s and then go like 1-2.
I think you were just running high in the past seasons and you just regressed to your mean.
maybe it's just like the more variance there is, the less like I can do.
Well, me and Mike play in every tournament, so now it's like, oh no, Ben got how to play.
All right. Kyle,
I can answer. It was lagging when you asked me the first time.
I think the
Whoa.
stream down.
What?
Is the stream down?
No, it was
it
just
dropped
how
for a
that was
second, but it came
Oh,
back up.
alright, never mind. Continue.
All right. So, get in the mindset for a tournament. You just basically want to make sure all your little things are in line. Like a lot of little things can get in your way and kind of screw up your mindset going into a tournament. I think number one, just make sure you leave on time. That's not doesn't seem like a big thing, but it can be. Make sure you're prepared, that you know where you're going, that kind of stuff. And make sure you have like your dice damage counters, all that stuff. Basically, just make sure you have all these tiny things in order, because those can actually throw you off if like you show up and then you rip a sleeve, and then you don't have any extra sleeves to replace the one you broke. I've seen people get all flustered over that kind of stuff. So first of all would be just make sure you have all those little bases covered. Other than that, I mean, yeah, a tough tournament. Just kind of trust your texting. Just go in there and just hope for the best. I mean, you're going to be playing against a lot of great players. Have some confidence in yourself. You know, if you win one, great. If you lose a game, don't get defeated. I see that happen a lot. If you lose a game, people just be like, this game is stupid. I hate this game. I can't win. And they just blame it on everything. And then they go into the next round and their head's not clear. And they end up losing because they make a mistake because they're so frustrated. So it's important to kind of keep a level head throughout the tournament. And that can also go back to, you know, getting enough sleep, which I never do. And I don't know. There's no great way to prepare for a tournament. I think everyone has their own little different way. And you just have to find what works for you. And just my suggestion would be to pick your deck the night before and fill out your deck list the night before so you don't end up getting to the tournament and stressing out over a last-minute decision. So I guess main points would be just make sure you have your deck list filled out when you get there, and try to get some sleep, and just try to calm down, because a lot of people just get nervous and keep themselves.
Okay, those are fair. I like how we recommend, you know, having people get plenty of sleep and whatnot, but in reality, we're staying up till like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning.
Do as I say, not as I do.
5 in the morning. So. I'm sorry?
So do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we might actually be the worst when it comes to that. I don't think there's been a U.S. Nationals where I've actually slept for more than 2 hours. But I guess that comes with the territory, and I doubt we're alone in this. But yeah, absolutely. Good rest. Sleeves are important. Like, all these things that just help you focus and like take away the issues that might come up throughout the day. Like, you know, I always take aspirin with me all the time. It's just, you know, why would I want to have this problem come up when I can fix it by just being prepared?
Oh, and make sure you eat.
Yeah,
that's one thing people just sometimes don't do. Is like,
a lot of people don't like to eat. Like, I think Kyle's one of those people that hates eating before a tournament.
Yep.
But hey, man, I'm with you, Pram. Like,
hey, man, I'll, even if I'm not hungry, I'll be like, it's time to eat.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I would always recommend a big, nice breakfast.
Because you need
not too big, you know, but a normal, good, big breakfast gives you energy throughout the day. Not specifically for Pokemon tournaments, for life.
Because like, especially with
issues with
tournaments, though, you never know. Like sometimes you never know when your next
meal's gonna add anything on, or can we go on?
When your next meal's gonna happen. So like, you should eat.
Drew?
Kind of piggybacking on Ben here. I really think the more you practice, the more you'll become aware with situations. Pokemon is a very situational game, so you don't want to be sitting at the table like, oh man, there's so many options, what do I do? If you practice it a couple of times, you're going to see that and know what the right play is and not be figuring it out as you play in the tournament. And that can throw you off a lot. And that's all I got to say. Next, please.
All right, good. Oh, goodness. All right, guys. What do you guys think of Landy, Bouffalant with the ability, Mewtwo, and Terrakion? Mark Green's asking this.
I think that's a deck that took a hit with Plasma Storm. Bouffalant is not as good as it anymore because of Laser. It just takes a Laser and a Verbank, and all of a sudden Darkrai knocks out Bouffalant in one hit. Yeah, even if they have Eviolite, you can still Dark Claw and knock out a Bouffalant in one hit. So I think that card actually lost a ton of playability.
And Cobalion goes right through it.
Yeah, that too. So I actually feel like that deck lost a lot of playability. It just seems a little slower. It gains Laser, but that's actually a deck that I don't think beats Kling Klang. I don't think Bouffalant and Terrakion alone are enough to beat the Plasma Kling Klang deck. So I actually think that deck that was very popular during the season regionals. I think that deck is the one that got hit the hardest by Plasma Storm.
Okay. Anybody want to add on any?
Well, I like the deck minus the Terrakion. Maybe I like the Terrakion. I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it. But I like the Bouffalant. I think it's good versus Cobalion. Just make sure you play them giant capes. Not Eviolate.
Well, I almost question how many times like Revenge isn't even going to come up, or Retaliate rather, is even going to come up for Terrakion, because like if something gets knocked out to Poison, you don't get Retaliate. So.
Yeah.
Next.
It's probably the wrong question to ask somebody or to ask our group, but they always ask it. So I guess as long as they keep asking it, we'll keep answering with our good old runabout. But is there a true best deck in the format currently? I'm gonna just ignore Kyle for this question, and I'm gonna focus on the others. Oh,
This guy.
you're just doing this.
This is right.
Enter Laser's good in every deck. That's Dwayne Schoenberg asking this. So all right, we got Kyle's answer. He says Darkrai. I'm not letting him take it back. I'm not letting him add an addendum or anything like that. All right, Drew, thoughts?
I'm gonna go with Darkrai here. Whenever I'm playing on the PTCGO, I hate to play Darkrai just because they don't really have a turn one weakness like most decks do. I mean, you think of Eels. I think Eels is a really good deck and might even be like the second best deck. But that Dynamo, it's just such a huge flaw. You know, you're TK'd so many times, at least once I would say in a tournament, and you don't want that to happen at the wrong time. But Darkrai, you got these like big beefy Darkrai's, and Laser works so well with it. You're already playing Dark Claw, and that just helps out your math immensely. Makes it so much easier to knock stuff out through the poison damage. And I hate playing Darkrai. It's just not fun. It comes out of nowhere. It doesn't take much to get going. It has all these cards that work with it. And yeah, Darkrai is the king, I think.
Man, that's my favorite deck too. Well, it was pre-lasers. Pram and Potter, do you guys both agree?
BDIF is the secret deck. The secret deck.
All right, Potter, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't want to say Darkrai just because everybody else is saying Darkrai. But at the same time,
it makes sense, right?
I watched it play some games versus Kling Klang, and it kind of got spanked every time. So,
All I know is if someone like Kyle is finally willing to say that there is a best deck in the format, then I mean you got to kind of listen, because this guy for the last, I don't know, how long have I known you, Kyle?
Too long.
About a
oh,
decade.
okay. Now that I'm thinking about this logically, Darkrai is the best deck. If you think about it, what's best deck to play? Maybe it's not Darkrai, but overall the best. Shut up. The best combination of cards you can play is Darkrai. And to his second question, yes, I think lasers are good in every single deck, including Lugia. So that's just me. Playing a 100% for Lugia deck, then maybe not good. But if you're just playing like a Lugia in a deck, I think it could be pretty good.
Okay, that's fair.
I just want to say, for me, Darkrai is the best deck because, kind of like Drew said, it really doesn't have any weaknesses early on in the game, and it doesn't really have any weakness. Period. Like I can't, if I tried to build a deck that was just aimed to beat Darkrai and nothing else, I probably still wouldn't win more than like 55-60% of the time. That deck just it's fast, consistent. I mean, it just always has options. So if you get like a turn 2 Night Spear with a laser, you can overpower pretty much everything. I mean, Kling is a problem, but you can add in like Victini for V-Crate or Reshiram. You can take care of that, because I think Kling honestly is the biggest problem, because you only run Sableye to attack against Kling. But Other than that, even if you built like a pure fighting deck, I don't think you would beat Darkrai as often as you'd like to think. Laser, Sableye, and Night Smearing for 110 with Dark Claw it's really good. The 30 from the bench damage too. Darkrai clearly has been one of the best cards since it came out, and it keeps getting better and better. And at this point, I don't see that card ever going away.
Okay. Let's see. Next question is from Carson St. Dennis. Is Garbodor a good play for states?
No.
I like it.
Why do you not think it's a good play for states, Potter?
Because Darkrai is the best deck. and Kling Klang is probably one of the top other decks. And Darkrai, sure, shuts down Kling Klang. That's a nice ability. But
You mean Garbodor?
yeah, that one. But Alien still has a resistance to like Mewtwo, which is like the normal play in the Garbodor deck. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but the difference is with
It
Garbodor, your
seems
Mewtwo
just-
can attack.
It seems way. Yeah, but it seems way too shaky to like want to play. Also, people tried in previous formats to like get it right and have it make a big difference on the format, and it still just hasn't. So that doesn't seem like a good decision.
Okay. Pram, what were you thinking?
Well, Garbodor just seems like great in this format. I mean, everything like it kills Blastoise if you get it out. If you run like Garbodor or Landorus, you can have a decent game versus Darkrai when they can't use Keldeo. So when you use Verbank Laser, they can't really get out of it. And then versus Kling Klang, well, Plasma Kling Klang doesn't do anything, so you can just kind of try and mow them over early with Landorus or something like that. So I think it's solid. I wouldn't consider it bad.
Okay, now, I haven't been playing this format obviously very much, but the fact that people have been playing Verbanks and lasers makes me think that they have to skim down on cards.
Oh yeah,
Now,
and you know what card they're skimming down
I'm
on?
thinking,
We're thinking the same thing.
yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly like if I'm playing these decks,
Support.
I'm thinking, well, I mean, yeah, my matchup against Garbodor is going to be a little bit worse, but maybe I just won't run into it. And I think that's a fair assessment. I think that if I'm playing these and lasers, I'm probably cutting down on tool scrappers. I mean, unless I expect to field every reason player, I think that would make Garbodor be very strong, especially if you just consistently play against people that don't have. If you play against one scrapper, you're not dead. I mean, it's difficult, but you're not dead. You play against zero scrappers, I mean, you're in good shape, and that's against pretty much. I mean, I'm going to assume against pretty much every deck. So that's my first reaction to this, and I actually think Garbodor is probably a really good play. I'm not sure exactly how Verbank and lasers actually affect it, but I do think that just based on the fact that people don't play tool scrappers very much, or I'm going to assume that they don't, I would think that it would be more playable. Thoughts?
I feel like Garbodor is a deck that's really kind of hit or miss, depending on a lot of things. Number one, like you said, Tool Scrapper. If people are playing those, the deck obviously is a lot worse. But otherwise, I think, unless you get a turn 2 Garbodor shutting off abilities, it's really not that great. You really need to get that thing out immediately. Otherwise, stuff like a Blastoise can just go off, start raining down a bunch of energy, and then you end up losing. Or even if you don't get Garbodor out quickly enough, you can just get your Trubbish catcher and knocked out, and then you pretty much have a crappy Landorus Mewtwo deck, depending on which variant you're playing. So, without the Garbodor, it's basically what most variants are, is just Landorus, Mewtwo, Garbodor. That's the main one we see. So if you can't get Garbodor out into play quickly, this has happened to me a lot, you just never really get it out, and you just kind of flounder around. It's not really that great, unless you can set that thing up quickly. The other thing is that I feel like it's really tight for space. You do have to run the Garbodor line. You do have to run like 5 or 6 tools to make it work. So that's another downside. You're tight on space. And that makes it tough to run cards like Laser, which you would love to have. And if you can't run Laser in Burbank, then you're almost like an inferior version of a Landorus Mewtwo deck, which is bad, obviously. I mean, sure, you get to shut off abilities, but your offensive potential with that kind of a deck is so limited if you can't run Laser, if other decks are. So I feel like those are the biggest drawbacks to Garbodor. It's got a lot of advantages, but it's very, very risky, I think, and very dependent on the metagame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fair assessment, and that's kind of what I would figure. Okay, let's see. The very next question we're going to ask is from Nathan Brower, and he's asking how popular we think Clink Clank is going to be in the first week, and most importantly, if it's worth teching a fire Pokemon to beat it. And he thanks us. So, what do you guys think about Clink Clank? Will it be popular, and should you tech against it?
Hit or miss, really. I think it's I don't know. I have no idea. I think if you're feeling like overly cautious of it, like it's just one slot, you can just fit it in anyways. You just put in the fire Pokemon. It won't hurt you too much against anything, and it can only help versus Clink Clank. So yeah, I would just play the fire Pokemon. If you're, I mean, like even if you're even asking yourself this question, just play the fire Pokemon.
I really think it depends on what deck you're going to play. If you're playing something like Darkrai, maybe yeah. If you're playing something that doesn't have, that has plenty of non-EXs as attackers, probably less necessary and probably no, at least the first week, to see how popular it is. But if it's Darkrai you're playing, then I'm highly considering it.
Okay. I mean, the thing is, like, does it really mess with your energy count quite a bit? Like, what would it do to your energy line? Like, if it doesn't mess it up that bad, I don't see a reason not to. I think you can pretty easily tech a Victini if your energy doesn't get messed up. But I think that would be the real deal breaker for me. I don't think the extra card would actually matter all that much, like, because I do expect it to be pretty popular. I expect it to at least be a presence. How big of a presence, I'm not sure, but I expect it to at least be a percentage of the field. Basically, one of the decks you have to play test against in your gauntlet. Drew, Kyle, do you guys disagree? Agree?
This week, attack for the first week, just feel out the meta game a little bit. I'm more willing to take an auto loss, I think, than most players, just to feel it out. I hate teching for like something that I never used at Victini, so we'll see. Like a couple formats ago with the plasma stuff, there was the Mewtwo that stopped level X's, or stop basics. It's not basics. So one states I just didn't play it for the first states, and I played like 3 Mewtwo decks. I didn't play a counter. So then, I went back to the drawing board and added a counter for the Mewtwo, but I really don't know. I don't like tagging for stuff that I don't have to, Woo!
Fair enough. Kyle, thoughts?
I kind of feel like if Clink Clank's ever going to make a showing, it'll be the first week. Trying to capitalize on the fact that people are going to be hesitant to tech for it the first week because you don't know how big of a percentage is going to be in the field. So I feel like if it has a good chance to win states, it would probably be best in the first week, as weird as that sounds. But I think the difference, it might not even be a difference. Like when Drew didn't play a Mewtwo counter in his like Lux Chomp deck, I mean, if that guy just gets a Mewtwo level X, Drew loses the game instantly. Like, that's just how it worked. But you could still win games by knocking out the Mewtwo before it leveled up. You could still win like that. And I think it's kind of like that with Clink Clank. It's, I mean, even if they get a Clink Clank out, if you're playing Darkrai, it's not automatically game over. You can still catch them if, like, they just rare candy into Clink Clank and not have anything else. You can still catch them with just junk hunting for lasers over and over, and you can still beat them. So in that regard, I don't know if it's worth teching for that deck the first week. But like you said, it's just like a one-card tech, like a Victini, and then you play like 2 or 3 Fire Energy instead of your Darks. So I could see it going either way, but It's definitely not necessary to tech for it.
Fair enough. All right, guys. One of the last questions I'm going to ask is from Anthony Caspinella. He says the thought of 2-day states brings up mixed emotions amongst the community. Ben's assessment of calling it a necessity is a really good way to describe it, considering rising attendance numbers and a demand for the 75-minute top cut. If 2-day states catch on, do you think a 4-day U.S. Nationals for at least Masters and a 4-day World Weekend, 1 for LCQ, 3 for main event, could be next? What are your thoughts on this? Is a longer weekend for U.S. Nationals and Worlds a necessity, as well as when it comes to the player's point of view? Now, before I get to the second part of this,
Crim's lagging out.
Still 5-minute top cuts are in a second pass. Maybe stay at 60. Okay, was there a lot of lag?
Yeah.
Couldn't hear anything.
Oh, wonderful. All right, cool. Did you guys at least get my question? Get Anthony
Nope.
Caspinella's question?
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
All right, cool.
I got the question. I didn't hear anything
yeah.
on your response.
All right, either way, I'm gonna go from the top again. All right. Anthony Caspinello asked the thoughts
heard
of
that.
2-day states bring up. Then what I asked? Did you guys get my question?
We said we had the whole question. We got the question.
We didn't hear what you said about it.
To the question.
Okay. So my was, and I wanted to avoid. I wanted to focus on sticking on the top. Do you guys still feel like 75-minute top cuts are a necessity? Yeah, maybe 60 minutes to that.
Skype is
And-
lagging pretty bad.
6 minutes is not enough for 3 games of Pokemon. It never has been. I don't think so. Not since the days of Big Set and Rocket's Trap and all that stuff. No, my games playing online. Some of them still take 15, 20 minutes, and that's with automated shuffling, automated drawing cards. My decisions don't take as long because I don't think about them as hard. So if you take that into consideration, I can still take an hour playing 3 games online. No, it's just not enough time for a best 2 out of 3 match. 75 minutes you need.
Okay, fair. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now, 2-day states going into 4-day U.S. Nationals and 3-day Worlds. Before I ask you guys this, I am going to make a statement, and I think that is hopefully something that we never have to see. I think 3-day Nationals is plenty long enough. I think we have more than enough time. Like the fact that we have something like 6 rounds for day 1 or 5 rounds for day 1, and then day 2 is the other 6 or 5 or whatever or 4. 4. I think it's like 3 or 4 plus like 1 round top cut, sometimes 2, depending. Like I mean, honestly, that's so much.
Day 2.
Yeah, so I guess you play something along the lines of like 6 rounds each day, right?
I think day 1 was 5 rounds.
Day 1's like 5
day
rounds.
Day 2
yeah.
was 4 rounds plus 128, 64, 32.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
that's
I mean
7,
that's
8.
plenty of time. That is 3 days. 3 days was I want to say 3 days was necessary. 2 days was really cutting it close. But 3 days seems fine. 3 days seems like plenty. And the fact that Worlds is a small tournament, like honestly, Worlds is a smaller tournament than most of our regionals, or some of our regionals. So I just don't see like it would have to become like an actual event. Like it would no longer just be a tournament. It would actually have to become like a festival almost, where you not only have the tournament, but like it's only part 1, or it's only one part of the actual thing. Like you have to have attractions and stuff like that. So that's the only way I can actually see them, making this a 4-day event. But I don't see that coming anywhere near, I don't see us doing that anytime soon. But that's my opinion. What do you guys think?
4 days is too much, I think.
I completely disagree. All right. No, continue.
I do not like 3-day Worlds. That's not necessary, and I don't think Worlds should ever be big enough. I mean, and then the World Championships. if you had just and it was like 4 whole days, that doesn't seem necessary. The 4-day nationals thing, I could see it if there was like other stuff to do, which is kind of like what you were saying. Like if it wasn't just the tournament, like if there was other stuff to do, or maybe different tournaments or different formats, or just more fun stuff to do. I would actually like that, because then people could come and they could just go for the parts that they want to go to, and the people could go to all of it if they want to go to all of it, as long as one specific thing doesn't last throughout the whole weekend or the whole 4 or 5 days or whatever. But other than that, for what we're doing right now, the 3 days is definitely enough, and I would not want to stretch that to 4 days.
All right. Drew, thoughts?
I think the way it is now is perfect amount of time. You know, you can come early and hang out with your friends if you want to. Making the actual tournament longer is just crazy. Because you gotta think, we come a couple days early, like now as it is. If you know the tournament gets to 4 or 5 days, you're staying like over a week at that point, which is just crazy. And you know, anytime you're cutting into like getting into weeks at a time, that's no good, man. You're supposed to be having fun. If I'm going somewhere for a week, it's gonna be like Bahamas or something, you know? I'm chilling on the beach.
Dedicate the month of July to Pokemon Nationals, the U.S. Nationals. Get there July 2nd, leave July 28th or something like that.
Yeah, that cuts into my vacation a little bit. You know, I just don't see parents getting behind that. Also, you know, they're not gonna be
I just don't think it's
enthusiastic.
feasible. I just don't think it's feasible. I think at some point you kind of got to draw the line, and I think 3 days is, you know, that line. I mean, I think that line is very, very well written. Pram?
Yeah, I mean, like, the only reason you would have a 3-day Worlds
Agreed.
Like, if for some reason they decided to put the players through the ringer, they were like, all right, guys, you're gonna be playing through, I don't know, 5 formats or whatever. Doesn't matter.
Each round's best of 5.
Yeah, you'd have to. They'd be putting them through the ringer. Other than that, there's like no.
Top cut best of 9.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Jason actually proposed with the current schedule, best of 5 instead of best of 3, and he can still. It would be, I think he had 2-hour best of 5
For Worlds or Nationals?
Nationals.
What?
And it all fit. It fit in just fine. Like the time was not an issue at all. So if he can add that much time to an event, clearly we don't need a 4th day.
Now, just for curiosity's sake, are you pro 5 or against?
Just thinking about it, I really was not. Like I don't think most people want to sit there for 2 hours playing a best of 5 every single top cut round. I think
128
best of 3 is probably good.
I think that's why
get
Jason
that.
wants it, you know? He can play 1 game while everyone else is playing 5. He gets to chill.
I think it wouldn't actually be a bad thing for like if you just did it for like the finals or the top 4. It would be more exciting to have like a best of 5, but not for the whole top cut round. No.
I would like to see it in finals. I mean, and when I say I would like to, I mean I wouldn't mind seeing it in the finals. But I wouldn't, propose something like that. Like that just seems like, oh man, you're asking for quite a bit, especially for the 2 divisions. Yes, I think he's just like in his zone.
You don't understand, man.
Physically.
Skype like
Yeah,
kills bandwidth and XSplit at the same time.
Yeah, you should have somebody else host a Skype call.
Hey, man, I still have to look at your
It's not the
faces.
Skype call that's the issue. It's his.
Host the Skype call when it crumbles. I just thought of that. It's like a Skyfall parody. You know that song, James Bond? Yeah. Whatever.
Okay.
Close, that's really
Don't do it. funny thing now.
Well, Drew's moving for me.
What's going on?